New merger agreement is rocking the world of golf and thrusting the sport into the middle of a human rights crisis. The PGA Tour has just announced a partnership with a Saudi-backed rival LIV Golf. The two organizations have been at odds since LIV was founded way back in 2021, and its leadership dangled a multi-million-dollar contract in front of several of the PGA players to try and get them to defect. Some big names did, but many did not, citing the Saudi government's long track record of human rights abuses, including the murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi, and questions about the country's involvement in the 9/11 attacks. And PGA branded itself as the moral alternative to LIV. Well, now the PGA's decision to join forces with them is leaving players and fans feeling betrayed.
I recognize that people are going to call me a hypocrite, and anytime I've said anything, I said it with the information I had at that moment, and I said it based on someone that's trying to compete for the PGA Tour and our players. And so I accept those criticisms, but circumstances do change, and I think that, you know, in looking at the big picture and looking at it this way, that's what got us to this point.
Shira Springer, a longtime sports journalist and lecturer at MIT's Sloan School of Management, joins me now to discuss. Shira, we were talking earlier, LIV, LIV, who knows? Yeah. Who are these people? What happened?
Yeah, this certainly wasn't much competition in the sense that it didn't have a lot of name recognition outside of golf circles. It wasn't like LIV was beating down the door of the PGA, but the PGA certainly felt that there was enough of a threat there that they needed to merge, and really it all comes down to money. Saudi's public investment fund agreed to invest an awful lot of money in the PGA. The head of that fund now becomes the chairman of this merged tour, and Monahan, who you saw there, becomes the CEO, and that's the arrangement.
What happens to the golfers who didn't take the deal in the beginning? Some golfers got a lot of money. Some said, no, I'm going to stay with the PGA, but now they're with LIV. Do they get money too?
They should. It's unknown yet whether they will, or what the compensation will be, and quite frankly what the punishment will be for those PGA golfers who essentially defected to the LIV Golf Tour for millions upon millions of dollars. But we do know, for obvious reasons, that those golfers who stayed loyal to the PGA are not happy. Among that number is Rory McIlroy, who reportedly turned down $300 million to stay loyal to the PGA Tour. And he said in statements, I believe it was earlier today, that he felt like a sacrificial lamb because of that. And he was very angry, still hated LIV, but being a bit pragmatic, he understands the financial implications, and that this investment by the Saudis will put the PGA and, quite frankly, men's professional golf on more solid financial footing. I think he's trying to make the best of a really bad, really disappointing situation, because he was very, very outspoken in his loyalty to the PGA.
All right, let's get to some of the sports washing accusations here. Connecticut Senators Chris Murphy and Richard Blumenthal today, they had something to say that condemned this partnership.
I think it's a really serious thing to have a foreign dictatorship in charge of a major U.S. sports league. Let's be honest, the Saudis aren't buying the PGA because they love golf. They're buying the PGA because they want to erase their dizzying campaign of political repression.
If PGA really wants to make amends for this really absolutely abhorrent merger, it ought to be supporting the 9/11 families rather than merging with an organization that tried to smear them, as the LIV organization did.
So I saw someone on social media yesterday say, so I guess we'll just all stop buying gasoline as well. I mean, what's the reaction to the idea that the Saudis are trying to fix their brand or burnish their brand by being involved in American golf or world international golf.
Yeah, I mean, I think people see it for what it is, this sports washing, right? They are trying to change their image, global image, by buying into sports and basically controlling men's professional golf now. And this is not their only attempt at sports washing. They basically bought Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the most well-known soccer players in the world. He now plays in Saudi Arabia. And another high-profile soccer player, Karim Benzema, is leaving to play in Saudi Arabia for big bucks. And the Saudis clearly see sports as a way to put a, we'll say, friendlier face on their authoritarian regime and their human rights, and to basically cover up their human rights violations. And people recognize that. People see that. But as I will go back to Rory McIlroy, he said it's hard to compete with people who have more money, and who, quite frankly, who will probably always have more money.
So did the Saudis invent this?
No.
How long has this been going on, this sports washing we speak of?
I mean, I was going to say, I mark it as beginning in some ways with the 1936 Berlin Olympics, what is often called the Nazi Games, because these are the Olympics that Hitler used to spread propaganda about the Nazi regime. It may have been, and there are probably examples that have, where it went on before that. But to me, that is sort of a real turning point in the sense of when a country, when a government, when a dictatorship uses sports to project a certain image that is contrary to what's going on inside the country, where they use it to sports wash their politics, basically. So I trace it to that. But it's also been going on a lot recently. You have Russia hosting the World Cup. You have Russia hosting the Winter Olympic Games. And I was at those Winter Olympic Games in Sochi in 2014. And what I vividly remember is 3 days before they ended, what does Putin do? He invades Crimea. So, using sports as a cover is not uncommon. Beijing Winter Olympics. So recently, the Men's World Cup in Qatar. This is not new. This has been going on for a while, and it will keep going on because, bottom line, sports is a business. And whether it's FIFA or the IOC, or elsewhere, or golf, they will follow the money because they need that money, and they need people who are to be aligned, quite frankly, with people who are going to invest lots in their sports.
I've always been amazed at folks who are sports fans and don't understand the business part of it, that, when your favorite player goes to another team, you're personally hurt, but it's all about the money. So what is a golf fan supposed to do? Say you're a huge men's golf fan. Do you expect they're going to boycott? Do you think it'll just be like business as usual? I'm going to keep doing what I do, watching what I watch?
I think the men's golf fans will keep watching what they watch. I don't see it. It has not historically been a particularly protest-oriented fandom, right? So I don't think the outspokenness will come, or there will be much outspokenness from fans of men's professional golf, but there has been when it comes to fans of the Olympics, fans of the World Cup. And I think the more that this goes on, the more that you see authoritarian regimes use these big international sports events to sports wash, I think there will be more protests, and that's the fandom I think that you will see more protests and more outspokenness from.
Is there any upside to this? Is there any, we're talking about Jamal Khashoggi again. We're talking about the connection of Saudi Arabia and 9/11, which for years we didn't speak about. Is there an upside here? Is there an opportunity here?
I think awareness always brings an upside, right? And again, you mentioned we're talking about all of these elements and aspects of Saudi Arabia that we weren't talking about before, or weren't sort of top of mind. So anything that brings those human rights violations and other issues top of mind, I think, is valuable. But I don't think there's a tremendous opportunity. This comes in cycles, right? So this will be the news for 24, 48, 72 hours, and then it will fade away, and then the next incident of sports washing will occur, and it'll come to the fore again and then recede. Nothing is going to change until the policies of, awarding big sports events, or other policies in terms of the governance of major sports leagues change. And so this is going to be a top of mind now, fade away, but there has to be some systemic change or just some change in governance of these leagues, of these major international sporting organizations, for there to be real change.
All right, Shira Springer, I'm sure we'll have you back to talk about this again.
Yes, I have a feeling you will have me back for this.
Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate you. Thanks.
Thank you.